this is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Well, we have a special guest in the studio.
Yes, we do. We have Curtis LeGeyt, and we're so happy to have you here. You are the president and CEO of NAB, the National Association of Broadcasters. You started in 2022 and took over for my friend, Senator Gordon Smith, also there. But we're so thrilled to have you here. And what a day. And by the way, you heard John's schedule. That's called a slow day for John.
Well, let me just say, first and foremost, thank you for the opportunity to be here. And John, you're making me look bad here because I was patting myself on the back that I got on the train from D.C. this morning, headed up here, did a couple of meetings.
We were going the wrong way.
Well, little did I know that you've already been back and forth and started your day up here. So it's a real testament to everything that you're doing here to make our country a better place.
Well, the big item that me and you always discuss is AM radio. AM radio is, I think it's needed in America. And FEMA just built a great facility for us that for 60 days or 90 days, if there was a war, if there was a biological attack, whatever, WABC will keep broadcasting for 60 to 90 days with its own oxygen, its own electricity supply, its own energy, its own everything. And it's just locked in. And AM radio, I remember when we had the big blackout in the 1980s, 1990s, whatever it was, everybody went downstairs to their cars to turn on AM radio. So what the heck is going on? You fill in the American people.
Absolutely. Well, you hit the nail on the head here, which is that, there are 70 or so AM radio stations across the country that have been equipped by the federal government to stay on the air in a catastrophic event where every other form of communication fails. So, whether you end up getting an emergency alert through an FM station, through a television broadcast, FEMA actually transmits to the rest of the country those alerts through those 70 AM stations. And it's a critical part of our infrastructure, especially in those times of emergency. I think it's a medium that's just taken for granted. 82 million Americans tune into it every month. There is a democracy of voices on the AM band that doesn't exist in any other medium. And for whatever reason, and you and I think can talk about what we believe those reasons to be, some of the car manufacturers have been removing this from the automobile, and we need to turn that tide, and it starts with a bill that's been introduced in Congress to do just that.
Well, I understand we have 62 U.S. senators are pro, and we understand like 260, 270, 280, but the numbers better. And some of the car manufacturers say, well, we want a sunset clause. And in other words, maybe we'll get Joe Biden back again, and AM radio goes away completely.
Well, the good news about this issue is it is very much a bipartisan issue. So one of the things that's so fascinating about it is in a world in which Republicans and Democrats can't agree on anything, this is a bill that we have conservative Republicans and some very liberal Democrats
supporting. Right? Isn't Markey a big supporter?
Ed Markey is the lead Democratic sponsor in the Senate alongside Ted Cruz. They don't agree on a whole lot.
What is the cost to the car manufacturers?
The cost of the car manufacturers is de minimis. And where they've really tried to lean in is to say, as we're deploying these electric vehicles, the AM radio causes some interference. The reality here is that's an issue that has been made up.
How did President Trump say about that? They're full of crap.
That's exactly right. They are full of crap. We know what the automakers are about here, which is they want to monetize everything going on in the car. They want to sell you a subscription service. They want to monetize your data.
Yes.
And your radio station doesn't do any of that.
And that's what they want to do.
Right.
There is going to be no sunset clause. There's going to be World War III. and let's see what happens.
Where does it stand, by the way? Jess, I'm curious, where does it physically stand, I mean, with the vote process?
Well, John undercounted our co-sponsors a little bit. We've got those 60-plus co-sponsors in the Senate, but we're up to 320 in the House of Representatives. You know, this is a bill that tomorrow, when it's on the House or Senate floor, it will pass overwhelmingly.
My math tells me that's enough to get it done.
That's exactly right. It's been passed out of both Commerce committees in both chambers, and Leader Scalise has signaled that he is ready to put the bill on the floor. We're working with him on that in the House of Representatives. It's supported by Senate leadership on both sides of the aisle. So if we put our shoulder behind it, and by the way, we had 570 local broadcasters in Washington, D.C. last week pushing to get this bill over the finish line. I think it's going to happen in short order, but we need our listeners engaged here. No listeners have been more engaged than your listeners. Our dependonam.com landing page gives your listeners all the tools they need to urge Congress to take action.
And Curtis LeGeyt, thank you for your leadership in Washington. We all have to work together because it's what's good for America, not just me or you or whatever. It's all Americans. And in time of emergency, AM radio gets through to 94% of the American people. I remember when we had the blackouts.
Right.
Everybody went downstairs to their AM radio, to their cars, turned it on, and said, oh, what's going on?
You know, the other thing, too, I thought, what about recently?
30 years later, we still don't know what happened with those blackouts.
Yeah, we still don't know.
States.
But even recently, like, remember the floods or the tornadoes that were recently? I remember people being interviewed, John and Curtis and everybody saying, I'm listening, I'm getting the updates from AM radio. We've had a lot of, like, natural disasters where it's the only thing.
And unfortunately, those natural disasters have become more and more common. And they evidence every time the importance of AM radio in that time of emergency. This band has a reach that no other medium has. The power's out. The cell networks are down. AM radio is reaching especially those rural areas of the country that aren't penetrated anywhere else. So it's critical. It's a matter of public safety. And for that reason, I think we get this bill over the finish line, but we've got to keep pushing.
And WABC has been taking ads in the New York Post and other papers saying, do not buy a new car unless it has AM radio in it. And I'm telling all our listeners out there, do not buy a new car without AM radio in it.
Bravo. Well, Curtis LeGeyt, thank you so much for joining us. I know you've got a busy schedule while you're here, but
big dinner
tonight. Yeah.
I'll see you later.
And it's not a busier schedule than John's schedule, as it turns out.
By the way, nobody's schedule.
But it's a pleasure to be here. We're grateful for the partnership.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep
very fighting much. The good fight for America. Thank you very much, Curtis. Thank you.
At Manhattan University, a graduate degree is not out of reach. You'll gain real-world skills, credentials employers value, and connections to New York City's top companies. Choose from their new Master of Science degrees in Healthcare Informatics, Digital Marketing and Analytics, Business Analytics, or Financial Analytics, all built around hands-on learning and industry partnerships. Graduate ready to lead, not just work. Take the next step at manhattan.edu/graduate. Manhattan University. Lead the future.